And we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Antiheroes, with myself, Chris the Villain Paynes, and Naki El Jefe Arshed. And welcome to another episode of Reap the Week. Firstly, a thank you to our sponsors, the lovely patrons on Patreon. Thank you for believing in this work, and if you'd like to learn more about supporting this channel along with receiving exclusive content such as the new episodes of How to Defend Everything 3.0, along with personal coaching, you can find out more via chrispaynesbjj.com. And a quick plug before I forget, we are now going to be releasing new episodes onto the YouTube channel. So if you're already listening to this on YouTube, expect other videos to be cropping up very soon. I think we'll be making some stuff this week. But good evening, Nak. How's it going?
Good evening. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Body feels good. Back feels good.
Nice.
After the camp, where it all went to shit, it feels good right now.
Good to hear.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad. I was worried when I came back how long it would take me to get back on the mats, and I was so excited to train, and then this just really knocked me back. It was a bit of shit.
Happens.
So, I made a big mistake, Nak. In what I did was I opened it up not just to the Discord channel, and thank you to everyone on there who puts your ideas through. They're quite long form, and it's so much fun reading them. But it's actually, no, I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way. I actually genuinely enjoy like where people's brains are going on those. So thank you to everyone who's on the Discord and sending those ideas in, writing us long questions. But then I also put a Instagram post up, and people were sending in short questions, which again was just, man, it got flooded today. And normally it's, we're kind of like 2 or 3 questions. It kind of works for a podcast. Yeah, man, like I hope you ain't got plans to sleep because we're gonna be here all night. So
It's all good.
Yeah, we'll jump pretty much straight in. I did make sure I took notes so no one was left out. So first question. Actually, this kind of goes well in that. So we've been doing this now for, I think, coming up to about 30 episodes, which is fantastic that we've been consistent enough and happy enough and enjoying this enough to make it 30 episodes. I can't wait to our 100th episode, which is probably going to be like 2 years.
Hopefully.
So some people may be joining us now on this podcast who don't know what we do, and also so like the ideas that we have. Where did we come from to get here in how we talk about jiu-jitsu? So some of the people who have been here for a while, they know what we're about, but I think it'd be quite a good, especially because the first question is, what would we do with a class full of just beginners? So I like that question, and I think it's a good way of also saying like where we are and why we're here and why we do what we do, and the terminology that we've kind of developed. But start off with them. Just go on, hear your thoughts. A class full of beginners. 10 people on the mats. Okay, imagine you've just you've put an advert out that we're doing a beginner course, and you have 10 people rock up, never done any combat sports. Not even not just jiu-jitsu or grappling or judo or whatever, or wrestling. Never done combat sports. What do you do?
Unfair thing has to be the first thing, anything you have to mention. It's got to be the first thing in my opinion, because that's the first kind of way you can make a connection with someone. It depends, man, because you got to look at the body types as well. If you can't make them, if you play a little bit, going 40-50%, you can't do some things. So I reckon, but for hand fighting, it doesn't matter what body type or age group they are. That's the first for me. And then rule number 1, stand up. If you get taken to the floor, just stand up.
Well, that's the thing. So this is like, again, you kind of got to dial it all back now. So you've got 10 people who've just rocked up. They don't even know what jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah.
And yeah, like where would you start with it? As in, so we have we've walked in, it's me and you, or maybe just even you. Like you say you're a lone coach, a lone wolf out there trying to spread the good word of jiu-jitsu.
So what is this? Is that your question? Like, what have we come here to learn?
Yeah, as in, where would you even start with, like, so you have a room full of just, what the hell? I saw an advert, it was free. Yeah. I heard you could get fit doing this. I heard Tom Hardy, the actor, enjoys it. Yeah, show me what this blowjob job is. If that's what BJJ stands for.
So, it's simple as saying you're gonna learn how to take someone down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to repeat John Danner here, aren't I? Get past their legs, control them in some way, and then submit. And if you get taken down, you got to
have no context for that. That's the thing. That's in like, I think it's really.
They got to get physical.
It's a curious idea because obviously we've kind of done it, and it's something I would do again. And the thing is, I think it's because I regularly have people who have zero. It's just I do a lot of privates with just me and someone else who's never done jiu-jitsu before. I have a lot of like people who maybe don't have confidence, so I have to kind of explain to them, right, it's just me and you. How are we going to start this? And so the first thing I kind of do is, yeah, exactly. So I explain essentially the philosophy of jiu-jitsu is first thing I want to do is I want to take the idea of jiu-jitsu is to take someone to the ground. The reason we take them to the ground is because while someone is on their feet and they have a connection to the planet, they can generate power. Once they're off their feet or on their back, a lot of their power is negated compared to when they're upright. So I need to find a way of taking someone down. Second thing I need to worry about then is getting past their feet, because even though they're on their back, their legs are still the most powerful part of their body. They could kick me. They could cause some serious damage with up kicks. So I want to try and get past their legs. I then want to pin them to the ground. I don't want them to get back up again. I want to isolate their torso to the ground and position myself that they can't hit me still and do anything to me. And then hopefully in the future, not now, way into the future, we want to look at a submission. A submission is how do I incapacitate this person by either affecting the circulation of blood to their brain, which is going to knock them unconscious, and it should take about less than 10 seconds for that to be accomplished, or I am going to ruin the ligaments in one of their joints, and that's going to cause immense pain to them. In training, we don't go all the way with that, but we go pretty close. But looking at it from that perspective then is, first thing we want to do is we want to learn to take someone to the ground and not be taken down ourselves. Because if this is the best self-defense class is a running track. If I can run the fuck away, I'll run the fuck away. So if I can't run away though, I need to know how to grapple. So I need to be either A, get back to my feet, or put someone else on their ass. Let's look at that. And so in a class full of beginners then, I would essentially say teach them how to do a clinch, over-unders, and say, right, without, and this is, I think, needs to be said as well, without trying to like actively, really badly hurt each other, just try and take each other to the ground. And then I'd probably explain the idea that, right, there's the bad points, or the control points of a body are behind the head, under the armpits, and behind the knees. Those are the points in wrestling that you'll be trying to grab someone. If you don't want to be grabbed and have your ability to stand upright affected, don't let anyone touch those places. As you can see with this over-under grip, the side that you have the undergrip is where you're powerful. The side where they have it is them. They are powerful. So you need to try and stop that. You need to try and make sure you have all the power and they have none. So try and work for their armpits. I think that's just a good start, because that then gives a good idea on defense, because then you're playing a game automatically of, right, I need to stop them having full control. I don't want them even to have one armpit. I want to have two of theirs. And I'm going to try and tussle them to the ground. And I think that'd be a good place to start beginners. And then as soon as they hit the floor, like, right, okay, well, you need to get back to your feet again. Don't lose your balance. And as like we said before, as dumb as it sounds, you don't want jiu-jitsu to work, don't fall over. Simple as that. So yeah, balance, and keeping your armpits and the back of your head and your back of your knees safe. I think you could take 10 beginners, explain that to them, and let them play that philosophical game of jiu-jitsu of, if you grapple someone to the ground by using the over-under grip, like it also say, well, if they ask, well, how do you take someone to the ground? Well, if you can get from that grip to their legs and hold their legs together, people fall over. They can't walk. So find your way there. But if you don't want to have your legs exposed, that arm defending your front leg will save you. And then once you get to the ground, don't go down that philosophical route. Don't allow them past your legs. Don't kick them, but try and get up. Don't let them past your knees. Don't let them to your body. Get up as fast as you can. And if you're on top, get past their legs, hold them down. I think it's also really important to say that I think this as well, something that we've kind of been dancing around a little bit, is when you're training this way with people, and there's a lot of slams involved and takedowns, etc., and people potentially getting hurt, is that we're not in competition with each other.
Yeah.
We're all on a journey together, and it's only through us growing as a team that we're going to improve. And this is a big thing about trust. This game is about trust. I'm putting my safety in your hands, potentially my life in your hands if there's a choke involved. I need to know that you're going to look after me. And so just starting that culture off from day one of like, people don't like other people who abuse that trust, who, they're out for themselves, they just want to improve themselves, fuck everyone else, fuck everyone in the gym. It's like, well, if no one likes you in the gym, you got no one to train with. So be nice, go to a level that allows the other person to play, care for them. They're here too, and if you break them, you've got no one to play with. And I think we know that as well. Like, if you roll someone, if they roll like a prick and they don't care for you, I mean, people can hurt you in jiu-jitsu. Like, that's funny. But when people outright try and injure you or like cause you pain outside of jiu-jitsu, like, drive their knuckles through your eyes or try and grind your teeth and shit like that, it's like, that's not you caring for me. Did you have to do that?
Yeah.
No. I think you can pretty much start, 10 beginners off with that. And
no, I agree.
They'd actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
And just let them play with that. Like,
They don't understand it. They don't understand it. We were talking about, me and John yesterday, we were talking about how the retention rates were so high at the moment. And I said, people understand, they understand the route that they need to take, whereas it's not a puzzle for people anymore. Where people would have to come all the time to work out why they're learning something, and then when it comes to sparring, they have no idea what's going on. Whereas now, from day one, beginners kind of know at our place, like, what the game kind of is and how they're going to get there. And they understand that now it's a matter of time and just keep working at it. And I think that's why our retention rate is pretty high at the moment in the last few months.
Absolutely. I think, especially because it's a game and people want to, play the game, enjoy the game, win the game if there's an opportunity. And when you start bringing in submissions in, especially when it's like that, you haven't got a room full of beginners, you've got a room full of other levels as well. You can easily beat someone with magic. Like, just grab a submission, and then they go, well, how am I supposed to win against that? I don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if I say to you, right, just get the fuck up and stay the fuck on top. Don't give a shit how you do it. And leave it kind of open-ended like that, they have a chance to win. Yeah. Instead of thinking, I need to know a guard, I need to know this. Yeah. Like, no, you don't.
And they fight tooth and nail for some of their positions as well. It's like, oh, yes, it's a battle now.
Yeah, it makes it interesting for them, and it keeps it fun, keeps it something that they can engage in. Like the idea that, so I do not like teaching beginner submissions. I've said it for years. This isn't a new idea. I remember saying it probably even when you joined, fucking 8 years ago, was if someone new is in the room, you do not submit them. You do not do a submission to them. They don't know what's going to happen. It's unsafe. Don't beat them with magic. And everyone who's ever walked in and they've gone, well, what do you want me to do? Stay on top. Be on top. That's all I want you to do. Don't be on your back. Get up if you fall on your back and just get on top. And all everyone's going to hopefully play with you is that. And that gives you a chance that you could win in this. It's not a mystical art anymore. It's simple. And it makes it that they can engage into the game. And that idea of balance, being upright, being on top, serves you for the rest of your career in jiu-jitsu. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's not like you do, like you learn close guard on month 1 and then you don't use it by year 1. Like,
this is the bread and butter fundamentals.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I feel comfortable and confident that we could actually even take a room for the beginners. Well, maybe we should find a spare hour in our busy schedule.
Yeah.
And put on a beginner course.
Yeah.
And then just record it. Say, right, this is almost like a little documentary we're doing on bringing people into jiu-jitsu.
Good idea, that is.
If anyone's listening, hopefully it's listening. Oh, listens to this. I'm so happy. If you listen to this and you think that would be something you'd be interested in, drop us a message, drop us a comment somewhere that we may find it. And don't write it on a piece of paper and just hope for the best, like it's Mary Poppins. Like, just send us it in the usual channels, and maybe we'll make a documentary when we can get a spare hour.
I agree. I'm game for that.
I'm curious. I'm actually quite excited about that idea.
I'm game for that.
I think that kind of explains our attitude as well. Then, so kind of bringing people up to date with the terminology is that simplicity and fundamentals, not just jiu-jitsu fundamentals as in, close guard, rear naked choke, armbar. Like, no, dial it back even further. Why are we here? What's the philosophical reason of this game? And how can we make it fun, engaging, and safe for people in a team sport? Make it a team on the mats. That's what we do. And playing games that will allow people to self-teach from those parameters. So defense, stopping people, knowing about those spaces, knowing that they need to be controlled and denied, being upright and being balanced. As dumb as it sounds, it stops jiu-jitsu. Ask Damien Meyer about that with Tyrone Woodley. Like, this man's not falling over. I have no plan now.
Yeah.
Yes, so next question, because we're going to be here all night. What are we currently developing? What are we interested in right now? What's our kind of curiosity? What's the thing that's really like getting you like, whoa, yeah, about jiu-jitsu right now? I was really excited.
Balance and posture. We literally just mentioned it. As funny as it sounds, in all the years after getting my black belt, that's what we're talking about right now, balance and posture. Mad.
I can, dude. I'm 14 years into this sucker.
I know. I always say to you, I feel sorry for you more than I do for myself because you're way so much into it. Like,
you think I'd already been on the mats 6 years before you even graced them with your presence?
Yeah.
Almost as long as you've been training. Yeah. I had been training before you arrived, and so the pain, man, the pain to think I've wasted so many years.
Not a complete waste, but we got there in the end.
I could be way better than I am. It's come full circle to me being, well, if you just stay upright, Chris, and just keep a good. I mean, I've been lifting for years. I know about posture. I used to have to do manual handling courses at work about how to safely lift with your back. It's like. I'll be at work like lifting like some cutting equipment off a fire engine, and it's like, okay, yeah, I need to make sure my back's in the right posture and engage my knees, and then I get to jiu-jitsu, it's like, violently lift with your back, Chris, jerk, right, you'll be fine. Fuck manual handling. This is how you do it. Like someone's got the back of your head, and you just violently like flicking your head up, just to fuck your spine up.
Spinal fractures.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that makes no sense. Or like just good joint alignment, and that stuff is fascinating me right now. And it's the thing that if I just have to focus on balance, I can get better every single day. Yeah, it's incremental, absolutely. But I am improved. I feel better than I've ever felt rolling. That and it's as much as people I'm not again berating any question. Thank you so much for engaging. But people want to get better. And it's so easy to get stuck in the game of jiu-jitsu and think, but I need more techniques. I need more escapes. And I like the idea of the bonsai tree of you're fucking around the periphery. You're fucking around with the leaves. And there's an infinite number of leaves on this bonsai tree. And you're just there snipping away leaves and just curating around all these different things. And it feels massive when you're just in the leaves. Just snipping away at learning different things and escaping things, instead of right. If I want to kill this fucking tree, cut it down at the fucking base. It feels like, okay, well, you're not really looking into all the individual leaves. Don't care. Want the tree down. Yeah, but you're not spending the time to learn the escapes from all the different submissions and scenarios. Don't give a fuck. Like, I want to get better. I want this tree gone. Yeah. Give me my big fucking saw and I'll start cutting. And I feel that's where we're at now. It's like everything we're kind of hitting. We're like, right, how can my posture and balance fix this? Oh, it's fixed it. That's fantastic. Applying the previous ideas. I like how we've kind of also completely abandoned defensive postures now.
I know.
All that time.
We don't. I think Running Man and Turtle are the only ones that we really use.
Oh yeah, completely.
But like,
oh no, I like that we kind of evolved it, as in we understood that. Yes, no, I'm not saying they don't work.
Yeah,
fucking hell, they did work for the longest time. But I think the thing about it is that, so anyone who hasn't, again, anyone new listening to this, hello. Thank you for tuning in. With your whatever your device you're listening to this on and chewed up headphones. Thank you for spending the time listening to Villaincast. Yes. I can't remember where I was going. I was so happy.
Defensive postures, they did work.
Yes. So we have these defensive postures, Running Man and Turtle, and it's about keeping your elbows glued to your legs. Like, don't let anyone in your armpits. Don't let anyone literally in that space from north of your thighs. So even if you're in bottom side control or anything like that, like grab your groin essentially, tie your elbows to your legs and your hips, and don't let anyone touch you in the torso area. And that kind of worked. It works really well. But I feel that going back a step further and understanding why it worked was that we didn't want people to control us in a 3D space. I think Charles said it really well. Like, I can allow someone in that space as long as it doesn't create a control that they've broken through their front line and circle around the back.
Yeah.
Whatever angle that is. And I don't want to... again, Greg Sodas are our most listened to podcast. That thing's doing crazy numbers.
Yeah.
One thing he said online, not in the podcast, so maybe I have to get him back on again, is jiu-jitsu is about attacking the periphery, about, and it's similar to what kind of you said about hand fighting at the beginning, attacking the limbs and the periphery to gain access to the torso. You control the torso to then isolate the periphery to submit someone. That's everything you've ever done in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I like how we denied control to the torso, denied access to someone getting that 3D control through our torso by using our arms to block it. But we've kind of gone one step further now with the whole balance and posture thing. It's like, yes, I understand that you need to control that to affect my balance and posture. If my balance and posture can overcome what the fuck you're trying, I can kind of let you there. Yeah. But if I feel that it's too powerful, I block it again. So it brought it back just another step for us, so we can make that choice of, do we need to, or can we just deny it through just good posture and balance? Because that's why they're doing it essentially, is to fuck with those things. If someone can't we can't fuck with our balance and posture anyway. But even if they're if we have good balance and posture, it negates whatever plans they had anyway.
No, I agree. It's been a good experiment recently, hasn't it? It's been very positive.
I think that's one thing. And so it goes into the next question about tripods, and it also goes into another question about thoughts on foot sweeps.
Oh,
So they're kind of the same thing. And it was so I need to make a shout out to a friend of mine. His name's Gareth McNamara from Ireland. He's a fantastic judo black belt. He's also a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he did one of my favorite ever classes ever. And at the Globetrotters winter camp back in January, and I saw him in Germany just now. So I had to walk up to him and say, Gareth, like, dude, bravo, you genius. I applaud you, sir. That was a fantastic class. And it was about attacking someone perpendicular to where their feet are at, either at the side or straight on, like drawing a line between their heels. Looking at that line and then attacking it perpendicular to send them front or back, and that's how your throws would work once you start messing with their balance at the same time. And that's just the amount of foot sweeps I've got in the gym now, just sending people to the fucking ground. Oh my God, I love it. And that goes into, again, something that Ryan Hall said about tripods, which also, weirdly, is something that we've said for years about the table leg when it comes to sweeps.
yep.
So, bringing it back, if someone is on all fours, think of them as a table. If you remove one of the legs of the table, probably an arm, the table has now got 3 legs, aka a tripod, and will fall over the missing leg. As in, if you draw a line between the 3 points of that tripod, the 2 knees, the foot, and the hand or whatever, it doesn't fall over the corner, it falls over the line between them in a perpendicular way. Exactly the same as foot sweeping someone, just without the 3rd leg, depending how endowed they are. And that's how you send them perpendicular over that line. And that's I love that idea. And so when it comes to tripod passing, I'm like, if you can adjust yourself over that tripod, so you've freed up a limb to be able to attack. I can pass with, one hand and 2 legs or whatever, or a head or 2 legs. I can then use my hands freely to that free hand or free hands to do a job. And as long as I know that they have to attack me at a perpendicular angle to send me over the missing line, the line between the 2 corners, I'm like, right, well, I can adjust my balance over that and maybe hide the line or hide the fact that it's perpendicular to them. And that's how I look at tripod passing, because then I can just stay balanced and stay postured. Be aware of my neck, be aware of my balance, be aware of my back, be aware of my joint alignment. And that's all I'm ever doing with tripod passing, and it goes into foot sweeps. It makes so much sense. Because all Ryan Hall said was like, right, if someone's a tripod, you push them over the edge, not a corner. I'm like, that's kind of what we were saying, just one step in advance, like ahead. And it's the same with foot sweeps. And then, like Ryan said, that's essentially how Marcelo did all his floor judo and sent people flying. And so it's been really interesting recently trying to like find those perpendicular angles and like sense someone flying over the line between the 2 corners. I'm like, oh, I'm burying people now. What are your thoughts on tripoding and foot sweeps?
I've been using tripods for a long time, but I've recently just been working on this balance and posture stuff, like you've been observing, and for me, it feels like it was a missing piece to the puzzle that I was always tinkering with me. So hopefully I can display that soon. But yeah, that line thing you did, genius, because I've shown it to 1 or 2 people and they understood it straight away, and we sparred a little bit. They were trying to make sense of it, and you could see them looking at the feet trying to work the angles, and then they would do the same thing when I was trying to pass on them. I'd be like, look, you need to observe where I'm putting my 3rd leg, my tripod, whether it's my head or my hand. That's what you need to be hitting and aiming for. But yeah, I'm loving that line thing. And then some of the lads on the open mat, I wasn't even there, and they were playing with it because they understood the idea. And again, it's not hard to understand, because then again you're free. You're making them angles. You know where your goal is, where you need to get to, the route, and you just need to get there. And again, everybody's fighting tooth and nail for it. So it's very good at the moment. Very, Very interesting.
And that was quite fun as well. Is that one of the classes we've done recently is getting people to play that game of, I don't want you to just be highly defensive, bunker down, and just not fucking move. I want you to get upright. I want you to engage. I want you to play. I want you to dance. I want you to find those angles on each other and find that perpendicular line. And the amount of people now that I've even seen in sparring on the last class, we haven't done much of this. And it's a very new idea that we've been bringing in when it comes to balance. The amount of people burying each other with foot sweeps or like just slick, like very smooth, effortless double legs.
Yeah, the wrestling's gone so much better.
Valley drops, or I've not really given a technique. I said, right, just find an angle and find a way of sending their ass over it. And oh my god, like what a fantastic! And we're gonna have to do a video on that. I think on Thursday night when you're free, we'll. I don't think we're gonna leave the gym till midnight. By the time we've made so many videos, I'll get my kit charging now. Dude, I've loved that. It's been it's all married in together in this understanding of the angle thing. I think we need to definitely make a video on that. So anyone again for the Patreon. What day is it today? It's Tuesday. We will record this. So Wednesday, I'll be doing something about that angle, about a few other things we talked about on here, and then I'm sure Naki and I are making some bigger videos after that for everyone else.
Indeed.
On the YouTube channel. Okay, actually, interesting then. So the next question. What are our thoughts on picking people up?
What do you mean, picking people up? Slamming? Or
elevating them off the ground?
I saw this on Discord. It was something to do with if you get like a leg and you lift them up in the air. I don't think it's a bad idea if you can pull it off, but I think you leave yourself open to a lot of counters, because as much as you're lifting them, like they are opening up, you're stretching them out, so they can't really use the postures. But I think you're turning into a scramble that you don't need to.
I like the so Aaron Milam, who's one of, I think he got his black belt from Henzo or Danaher or something like that. He's been in the game for a long time. He broke Preet's turtle at Iceland camp a few years ago.
Yeah.
Is that someone was doing the Preet turtle, and all he do is like grab him by the hips and just pull him into the air really quickly. And like when they freak out and like their arms and legs come shooting out, then he jumps in and like squirrels onto your back. And yeah, essentially it broke Preet's system instantly. I remember to use it in the gym a little bit with yourself and other people. Like I'd grab you by the gi and just like whip you in the air a little bit. And it's because, again, going back to Ryan Hall, if you fuck with someone's balance, the fight goes into becomes secondary to fixing the balance. Like it's just human nature. Like as much as you think, right, if I glue my elbows to my legs, I am safe. And then you go whack and just whip them into the air. They're like thinking, fuck, like try not to land on face, and they're not thinking about hiding their hips anymore. It's the exact same with everything else. Like if you, I think you got me on Monday. Like at one point, you got me in like a elevator. You put your hips on your feet on my hips and like lifted me into the air.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that brief moment, I shit my pants and like all kind of like, oh, I need to have good posture. I need to have good balance. I was like, don't die. And so in that moment, like, yeah, it worked, and you could have done whatever the fuck you wanted in that time. And I said that's the only real, like, that's why I see picking people up either on the ground, either from a wrestling perspective or from a jiu-jitsu on the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
Is I just want to fuck with your balance.
Yeah.
And taking you off the ground whilst your balance is horrendously fucked with, I can do with you what I want. Like,
a short window, but you're open.
Oh yeah, prime example is the Mighty Mouse fight with the
that Rayborg,
the armbar.
Yeah.
When he went for the suplex and armbarred him like midway, like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
For a split second, literally just did that, like whoop, armbar, done.
Dude, exactly. Prime example was that fight was when Mighty Mouse whipped him in the air and then armbarred him before he hit the floor. Like perfect. That's why. Yeah. That's exactly why I'd lift people into the air.
Yeah.
to make them temporarily shit themselves.
There's that other cool armbar, isn't there, as well, from side control, where you have like two hooks on the arm and you pull it out and you fall into the armbar as they spin underneath. It's got a name for it. So again, it's because of the elevation that everything opens up and you get
like a helicopter armbar from Open Guard. Yeah, when they spin in the air and they go, like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly why you lift people is momentary pants shittingness. Next question, Alex. Thank you for sending it in. How do you get better if you are without any higher belts?
Doesn't matter, mate. I've gone past that philosophy because I will train with anyone, even beginners. Sometimes I get like on open mats, nobody will turn up, but a beginner who hasn't trained, I will have a half decent session with them. Just how you've explained everything, I will do that with them. Fundamentals, you can't go wrong. Like you could, the more you do them, the better you get. So I don't believe in that philosophy that yes, there is that whole iron makes sharper iron, blah blah blah, but I don't think you can say that you can't train with anybody who isn't upper belt and not get better. Like I think we're past that, especially with the new teaching methods and methodologies and how we do things nowadays. I think Gordon Ryan didn't I think he said something like when they moved to their new base that they didn't have many upper belts to train with. They had to bring newer people in. And I've heard a quote somewhere saying you don't need world-class athletes to train to become a world-class athlete or something along them lines anyway.
No, well, I never had anyone better.
Yeah, exactly. You're the prime example in this. You didn't have a coach.
Yeah. No, I didn't have, after 10 months had passed, I had no one in the gym better than me. Like I was, I was kind of shite. I didn't have anyone better than me. And so it was a case of bringing everyone else up.
Yeah.
And giving those people time. And again, I think it's knowing this now 14 years in is reframing what being good is in jiu-jitsu. Like you don't need, if you're like blue belt, even a high white belt, and you know some basic sweeps and shit off YouTube and some basic submissions, you're good. You don't need anything else. You then just need good quality fundamental training of, that's the thing. Like we've got white belts now who genuinely test us. Like if I walk into a gym and it's just brand new people all over the mats, first yearers, I'm looking at them thinking, I'm going to have some good training. Like this isn't bad. Like I'm not looking at these people thinking, it's a waste of my day. I'm just going to go wreck them. Like they're all fighting to stay upright. They're fighting to get to their feet. They're fighting to keep their armpits closed. If they get on top, they don't let me up. They're trying always, fuck with me trying to get up, and I'm allowed myself to maybe go, start from on my ass and I try and get up, and they're just bombarding me with staying the fuck down. Yeah, it's reframing that you didn't need all those new techniques. You don't need new techniques. If you create that team approach of a rising tide, and you allow everyone to look at each other and go, right, my progress is tied to you. I need to make you better. Be the best person I can for you. It's going to make me better. And just sticking to those fundamental ideas. Maybe that's another video we need to do. Maybe you don't need to do technique videos anymore. Maybe we need to do like videos of like how would we technically answer all these questions.
You just become philosophers.
Yeah. That's essentially this. This is like us setting up what we're going to do cast. Yeah, I think we can make that video on Thursday. I think that'd be an interesting one. Because that kind of goes into what we do with the beginner documentary that we might do. Put it on the list of ideas.
Yeah.
Someone actually said to me, it was on Discord, it has got me thinking. And please write in again if you think there's any use to this. Making a book.
Do you reckon people still read books?
I don't know. But it allows us to really like deep dive into some ideas. Imagine making the new Jiu-Jitsu University with this ideas. No, I'm legit serious. I think
we should start with the documentary, see how much of a success that is, and then we'll see if we can write a book.
I'm really putting thought into it. Like it kind of came through, and I was like, a book? Who reads? And I thought, motherfucker, because I saw some people have been, I have started noticing where people are putting up on like BJJ Fanatics group on Facebook or on the Underground or on Reddit, like, oh, you know, is it worth getting Jiu-Jitsu University? Or I still read that book, and I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah, because not everyone can afford like a $70, $80 Fanatics.
That's true also.
Or has the time just to swim through the cesspit of YouTube.
You know me, I'm game. We'll do it. Fuck it.
I'm really like,
It's another thing I might put on the CV.
You know, I'm interested in making the manuscript and shopping it out. See if there's a publisher who'd actually be willing to entertain it.
You never know.
Dude, I'm game. If I suddenly get a shit ton of posters saying don't do that, like, maybe I won't. But if people are looking at that thinking, holy shit, like a little you know, new Jiu-Jitsu University, not just like had the Twister by Eddie Bravo and these random books that covering certain things. Like actually no, like because that Jiu-Jitsu University was how do you go from nothing to black belt, essentially. I'd be interested. Essentially, what we did with our How to Learn Jiu-Jitsu Fanatics.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Good idea. Let's do it. Okay.
I'm on it. I'm on it already. Next question. Oh, right. See this? We're cracking through it now. We're 41 minutes through. We're not running at speed at all. It's taken forever.
How many questions have we got left?
Probably about 4 or 5. I've managed to stick them together, move stuff around. It looks good. I like it. So, with the constraint-led ecological approach that we're playing with, and it's a lot of games, does there need to be a new vocabulary, new nomenclature for jiu-jitsu? When you're explaining control to people, and you're not really talking about side control, does there need to be a new way of explaining jiu-jitsu? And that's what I find interesting is that we just don't name things in the gym.
No, literally on the weekend I was teaching something and I taught it. I think it was a sweep from butterfly or something, and somebody asked me what's this called. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just do it and I'm good at it and I know what I need to get. I don't know what it's called, and it falls into what I've shown you. It's a counter, so you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I get there has to be like broad terms, like you have to explain a takedown or what control is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, inhabiting the armpits, but mount, back control, side control. Like if I had a room full of beginners, I don't think that I'd even really spend the time explaining those things. I explained the general gist of what guard meant, as in being on your back and keeping someone south of your toes, or controlling someone with your feet. I'd explain maybe turtle, as in because you look like a turtle. And I explain control as in someone's in your torso.
Yeah, in your armpits, above your hips.
Yeah, controlling your torso, your spinal area. That's it. After that, like, I wouldn't have to name a bunch of sweeps and stuff. I wouldn't have to name a bunch of takedowns or like doubles and singles. Like maybe, just double the singles. One leg or grab one leg, grab two legs. Like double their legs or single of their legs. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Overhook throw, underhook throw, blah, blah, blah. This is where you need to get your hips.
A lot of the games that we've been playing for the last few months, I don't really think I've actually had to explain anything. Like in a named way. I actually think it actually hindered for a little bit. Because when I started to call it Kindle guard, the elbow frame guard, is that people want to then play it as a guard, and so they'd spend longer on the floor. I'm like, no, it's just a block to get the fuck up. And it kind of fixed it. Like, using some terms actually then held it back, because then they'd see it and then maybe try and emulate the idea instead of they'd miss the wood for the trees, as in you say, I want you to control them. Okay, I'll control them, and they do it perfect, like inhabiting the armpits, like you say. And then they go, oh, what's this side control thing? And then they start losing the whole, like, oh, I need to be in the armpits. They try and emulate what side control is. So it almost kind of ruins. I'm not saying that's happened, but I'm saying it would kind of ruin what we wanted. It's almost better to keep it more broad instead of doing specifics.
Yeah. I mean, even guards are just the three major guards: closed guard, half guard, butterfly. You know what I mean? And then all the in-betweens is like it's a guard. It's either inside or outside guard. Deal with it.
Yeah. Are your legs on the inside, legs on the outside? I wouldn't even close guard. I wouldn't. I wouldn't even say about that. I'd say right, are the legs on the inside or the outside?
Yeah.
That's how you're going to deal with it. Whether you're vulnerable to submission, what submissions you're vulnerable to, etc. I think it has really negated the need for a lot of specific terms because it's always random what people are doing. They'll find new ways of sending people over, like that game with send people over the flat edge between their heels. People just found a bunch of like legit throw and foot sweeps that I've never shown them.
Yeah. That surprised me as well, because I was like, I'm sure we haven't taught some of this shit. When they're trying to go for them on me, I was like, we haven't shown you this, and you won't get this good on watching YouTube and Instagram. So surely you've imagined this and you're using the theory that we've explained.
Yeah.
Good.
It's not like they've been doing that specific throw that they might have learned off YouTube previously. They've never done these things. And all of a sudden, like, they've been thrown into the fire of, right, I want you to do this. And they invent it. And I'm like, holy shit. Do we have to then name what they've been doing? No, because then you kind of slowing them down. Because they go, oh, right, I now know a Sotogari and I know Valley Drops. Like, no, fuck it. Like, roll them over the fucking flat edge. That's all I give a shit about. I don't give a fuck how you do it. I like it. Next question. And this has been a fun one recently for us. I liked it. Thank you for sending this question in. Grip fighting strategies when it's slippy as fuck.
Oh, mate. It gets bad in there, doesn't it? Especially Stafford. Damn. There's no grip fighting left. You just might as well start swimming with each other.
The only grips I find were
headlocks, head and arms. Them kind of grips.
Shout out to Darius. Used to come to our gym. He German wrestler. He did some Turkish oil wrestling many years ago. And he used to talk about bone grips. Because obviously when you in Turkish oil wrestling, you get covered in oil, like olive oil or whatever it is, I don't know. And then you got to try and grapple people while oiled up. And so they grab bone. They grab like the end of the ulnar radial in the elbow, back of the knee, armpit, whatever. Even with you, like when you get nice and sweaty, I grab your jaw, by your ear, so you can't slip off. I find that for when it comes to effective, like if I can arm drag someone if they're sweaty, because I'm not arm dragging the tricep, I'm arm dragging your ulnar radial. I pinch your bones. I think that, like, understanding that system, understand that there's bone grips and pockets you can kind of grab into that completely negate the need for friction. So I agree, like what you said about head and arms and stuff like that, like pinch a couple of things together, like take a lot of space. I find that bone grips, they still worked.
Definitely.
Agree?
No, I agree with you. Because there's nothing else to grip, is there, really?
No. So, play around. Like, obviously have a willing partner that doesn't mind getting poked and prodded. Maybe that's where the oil check came from, with the forbidden grip. You can't.
That was probably someone in Turtle and just stuck there. And somebody thought, how do I move in from here? Doing.
It was a hot day. You're slipping off them, and you thought, right, that crack there. Initially, exactly. Like, I've grabbed guys by the ass to hold them, not in the asshole, but there's some meat there.
The gluteus maximus, it's a muscle.
Exactly. But say it got even sweatier, and you thought, well, there's a that'll control them. I only say it because I was on the receiving end of one once upon a time.
Oh yes.
At a gym in the north of the UK, old school gym. I got controlled in ways I had never even thought of.
Violated in the wrong ways.
I'm not going to say the gym. I'm not going to say who it was.
It was.
But, I sent him Valentine's Day cards still. You were my first. But
that must have traumatized you from grappling for a bit. That must have.
So if anyone's curious about this story, I don't think I've actually said this story on air.
No,
It's not long. So we were at this gym, and this it was a wrestling style gym, like wrestling, northern submission grappling, and I got gripped a certain way from side control. I was like, oh, maybe that was an accident that his hand is gripping me there. He then reestablished said grip. I was like, oh, well, if I shrimp now, I'm going to bleed out. So I'm going to stay really still and didn't move at all. And the thing is, it works so well, but I thought I can't really bring it back to our gym as a new technique. Like, hey guys, new skill unlocked. Like, it's on the menu. Could you imagine?
They'd leave, mate. They don't leave.
Like, oh, we could do that now. Fantastic. Imagine how terrifying it would be for someone else to come in the gym for the first time. Like, not only learning, like, that's not what you put in a class of 10 beginners. Like, where can we go?
We're testing new controls.
How terrifying.
Oh, man. But yeah.
How did you enjoy jiu-jitsu? Yeah, but I don't think I can shit right ever again.
I think we've gone on a big tangent there.
Oh, God.
That was a fun story, though. Fun day.
Yeah,
Fun day.
Fun day, yeah. Yeah, for some. Didn't happen to you. Like, you could have poured wax up my ass. I could then get a copy of his fingerprint from up there.
Oh, Chris. I feel sorry for you for that day.
Thanks. Yeah, guy had fingers like a fucking sausage. One of his parents was a fucking Richmond sausage. I can promise you that. Fantastic. Anyway. Next question. How to get people belly down from turtle? Bellying them out.
Oh,
I think a lot has to have gone wrong. I've got a specific method, and that is if I can get hooks in, which
I was going to say
big fucking if on that one.
Yeah.
I then don't go for a seatbelt. I go for double unders under the armpits, and then because I'm compressed into a tiny space of their torso, I can then reach out, explode out, swim my legs down, swim my arms up, and that will be bellies people out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they hit the floor, I cross my ankles because they can't ankle lock me from that position, and then raise their feet into the raise their legs into the air so they can't get their legs back to the ground again.
Yeah, but like you say, at our place, it's such a rarity now because getting two hooks in, like one hook maybe here and there, but that second hook ain't coming in without a fight, and sometimes it's not worth it because if you cock it up even a little bit, they're on top, you're on the bottom.
I think that's the only thing. Like, I wouldn't. If I take someone's back, I'd only do it from the top mounted position if they're bellied out. I wouldn't. If they start to roll, I wouldn't keep the back. I wouldn't let my back hit the floor because it's not worth the risk of me fucking up and them getting on top. I'd rather just surf them and float them. But if if I somehow have slipped my hooks in to a turtled person, and I will then abandon a seatbelt and go for double unders and flatten them out at that point and hold them down that way, and then attack for whatever, keep them pinned, try to start hunting. But if they start to roll or anything like that, which is normally pretty difficult from that angle, I abandon. Screw it. Rear mount, great. Back control, not good. It's just back guard. And if it goes wrong, you're in normal guard, which is terrible. Going on to the next question then. How do you prevent a regard?
As a top person, you're preventing them to get the guard back.
Yeah, and I've kind of talked about this a little bit in a way when it came to side control. It's actually really simple. It's one of the first things I ever learned.
Keeping their legs away, pushing and controlling the head.
Blocking the hip.
Yeah, but that should be the first thing when you pass guard. You should be thinking about anyway.
But that's the interesting thing. Is that if you're taught to go from guard straight into side control, you kind of forget that the first thing you need to do once you pass the knees is control the hip.
Yeah.
And never let go of the hip.
Yeah.
I've learned that a lot, especially with people standing up.
Oh yes.
Your hips are your engine.
Yeah.
Your legs are your engine. If I give you freedom of your hips, you can do what the fuck you want, be it regard, stand up, turn, whatever
Turtle,
the hell it is.
yeah, that's how I prevent turtle. It's all the same thing. You just put weight on the hips.
Yeah, I have to pinch your hips.
Yeah.
So that I've always got a pinch between my hand and my knee or my elbow and my head or something to stop the hips from moving. I never, ever let you have your hips back. Because even if you can move them, it's sugar in the gas tank. You're moving through shit. It's treacle. So, yeah, as soon as I get past someone's knees and want to control them, I control the hips. I never let go of the hips. If I can move into the armpits, fantastic. I'll open them up and start controlling the neck as well. But even just controlling the neck, sometimes when they've got the legs back, then things start to go wrong again. I can't let someone have their hips back. I always have to control the hips. And that is the point of regarding, is if you have autonomy of your hips, then you can create space and shrimp. Regard.
Yeah.
Control the hips. Pinch the hips between whatever you need and don't let them have their hips back. As soon as you get past the knees for a guard pass, put something next to the hip bone, and that's it. Something stays there, never gets removed.
Agreed.
Final question, and this is I think it came through on Instagram. Say you are a relatively new white belt and you're doing 4 classes a week. Is it worth dropping one of the traditional classes for an extra open mat and doing 3 classes and an open mat, or 4 classes?
Change him.
I'd say drop all your classes and just open mat.
That's what I was going to say. Use these ideas and just open mat. Like,
yeah.
We most of our training is open mats and sparring. Like, if you looked at our teaching, we don't really teach that much.
Well, no, even the drilling. Like, I've explained to people recently, like, how much do you actually show in class? And I show an idea at the beginning, maybe change it up halfway through, but that's it. Like, you guys, you know what the fuck you want. I'm off, and you don't need me. After that's happened, like, as soon as I've said the strategy and like what we're going to do that night, that's it. I'm gone. And I think it's one thing about coaching is it feels like you have to always add value and worth and be there and change up the drill every 5 minutes to prove that you're worth it. When people are more happy now that I'm gone. Chris isn't saying so much. Yay! And that's essentially it. And I wouldn't say what we do in class is sparring.
No.
I think that's been the biggest hurdle with this whole ecological approach. I hate the word of using game, because game implies competition and people then just reduce it to sparring again. Game as in puzzle creator and puzzle solver. I think there has to be a big differentiation between there of one person setting puzzle, one person solving puzzle. But by and large, you don't need me. And if you can take that into open matting, you don't need new techniques. You need fundamental ideas. And if you just stuck to these ideas, and we'll put them in, and we've got so much video. I'm gonna empty my memory card now, Naki, and put new batteries in my microphone because we're working on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need any of this stuff. You're good. You don't need it. Put the open mat in. Take out another class as well and put another open mat instead of there. Yeah. But depends how much rolling you get.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when people say traditional class, I have got no clue the only idea that I've got with traditional class is 20-minute warm-up, 40 minutes of teaching techniques which probably have got nothing to do with each other, maybe a sequence which worked once for someone, and then 30 minutes of sparring. For me, that's my idea of a traditional class, which we haven't done or taken part in years.
I'm going to put this up as a poll on my Instagram. Literally, as soon as you start talking about this, I'm going to put it up as a story poll of how many people still do that kind of traditional style class of warm up.
It's going to be huge.
Class, spar.
Majority.
And that's the thing. Like, some of the guys today were asking if they could go train elsewhere. Not in like, I want to move, Chris. You've hurt me. More of a, I want to go play with these ideas somewhere else. We're then got into a bigger conversation about, protectionism when it comes to students. Like, no, you can't train elsewhere. I'm like, no, fuck off. Like, I want you to go train elsewhere. Here's a bunch of gyms. Go have fun. And it disappointed everyone because everyone was like, oh, well, there's not much rolling time anywhere else. I'm like, I know. Sorry. Like, I spoil you guys. Like, all we pretty much do is roll, and everyone loves it. I'm like, but where can we go that does rolling? Well, this gym does 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, sorry. Like, I know usually on a class you get 2 hours of sparring, but it's one of those things, guys. I think one of the students, Ifan, actually returned back to our gym. He actually moved back to the area just because the gym he ended up at was apparently not enough rolling.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, you can't beat the 2 hours that we do. 1 hour class, 2 hours sparring. And even in the 1 hour class, it is games.
There's no dry zombie bullshit.
No warm up. Let's just play games. Puzzles and puzzle creation, puzzle solving. And then sparring. And again, I think that's one of the big things that currently is continuity. If you're going to do something in the class from the games, you do it in sparring. Like, if I've said to you, find the line and push someone over it as a game, I want to then do that in sparring. If I've said to you, get the fuck up, don't be on the floor, I then don't want to see you sitting on your ass. I want to see you getting the fuck up as soon as you can. If I said to you, have good posture and keep balance as the game, you better be fucking doing it in sparring. Because then that continuity is then going to reach through to competing. And I said that recently, like it was after the Josh McKinney podcast, and one of our students, Lee, asked it Thursday, Friday. He said, what advice have I got for his next competition? I said, nothing. Because if you start thinking of doing other things, that this competition is going to be different to any other day, now you're panicking. You don't think that when you come to training. You don't think you do that in sparring. Like, you live in the moment, and the moment what we do in here is correct. I want to be a case of there is complete continuity between the three. That what you do in training, you then do in sparring, you then just carry on in competition. It's not that you're going in there thinking, oh, what if this guy does this, or what if this person does that? Like, it's no different. You just inflict your game plan as the same as any other day, any other hour. Because otherwise, if your training doesn't match what you do in sparring, and your sparring isn't what you're going to do in competition, you're doing 3 different martial arts hoping that they're somehow related.
Yeah.
And then you shit your pants. There's a lot of pants shitting today, and assholes. Maybe I need to edit this and take it all out and reduce this down to 10 minutes.
Might get flagged up.
Yeah, maybe. Demonetized. Oh, I want to monetize this channel. What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to have to start.
We'll be fine. I don't think they'll pick up on much of this.
Yeah, they have algorithms and other things that will pick up on it. So we're going to start, like, being homely.
We've sworn before.
Oh. Yeah, but not monetized either. So, oh well. We're going to have to dial it back for the future. We're not there yet. Maybe we'll do one day.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and so I think that if you're going to add more open mat in, just make sure that you keep a continuity between what everything you want to do. Don't just do different things depending on where you are. There has to be that. Because again, that changed what we look at as us as black belts in the gym. We're not coaches. We're strategists. We develop the strategy and we allow the games to play out. I know you can kind of think like, it's, but this isn't about teaching just jiu-jitsu. This is about developing the strategy as a team, making sure the team play the strategy, and the strategy then can have continuation when we compete.
Yeah.
And that's it. We did it. It took us an hour.
Nice. I honestly thought I was going to be here about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
I actually, first time doing that, opening it up, not just the Discord, but again, please, people, come through the Discord, because I love reading this stuff on there, especially because it's a nice little community growing and people start to know each other and visit each other. I love it. Please, if you're listening to this via Spotify or Apple or Google or whatever your usual podcasting platform is, go onto the YouTube channel. You can find the Discord link in there, or just send me a message on Instagram and I'll send it to you. It's also on my link tree, which is on the Instagram bio. It has a link to the Discord. Please join the Discord channel. It's fantastic. There's a nice little community growing. But if you don't, I've really appreciated people sending in these questions, and we did it. This is a day's worth, and it's already, let's say, about 12 questions, and it's made this really fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god, stuff that's. I love as well seeing where people's brains are with what they're doing in their jiu-jitsu, like how it's going to evolve over time that we keep doing this. So yeah, please, if you've enjoyed this episode and you think, wow, this is great, I didn't even think I was thinking about that when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Like, please send us your questions. Again, I'll keep putting up the poll of what do you do in class? What would you prefer to do in class? I think we'll make 2 polls.
Yeah.
Let us know if you would actually enjoy a book of
the
new University of Jiu-Jitsu
and the documentary.
The documentary on beginners.
Yeah, let's get 10 beginners.
Let's start a beginner course and let's make a documentary on it. Especially because you've got all this cool equipment now. Oh my god! Like, that's one thing as well. I know we're going. It's tangent time. So I've used a different camera now for shots in the gym. Oh my god! How good is it?
Sick. That thing is amazing. Like, I don't know, man. Like, compared to, I thought the pictures used to be very good and clear before, but now they're just exceptional. The quality is just amazing.
Dude, I think that's why people are still really coming to classes now, because they've got their photo taken.
Because everyone's posing
something
now.
to do with teaching. We've begun this entire podcast like saying, yeah, the coaching's really good. People are just really into it. Like, no, I just take good photos, and people like having photos of themselves. They pay £6 for a portrait photo of them doing a sport once a week. So I'll put this as an extra thing then, because we're going to be here for hours, because I love doing this. Is when it came to so my Naki and I weren't always jiu-jitsu coaches. I'm going to put up the picture I took of you just to show where you've come from. You are very handsome these days. You're grizzled compared to the young man that came to me in that photo 6 years ago. I forget you even looked that way. I'm going to put it up. I'll keep putting it up. Anyway, so what did you used to? You said didn't you go to university to be a lawyer or something?
Yeah, I did law in uni and then I became a teacher afterwards.
Exactly. I find that just so funny.
In between, I was a security guard.
Yeah, and now you're a jiu-jitsu coach and a PT.
Yeah, mad.
I know. You talk about career trajectory. Like, mine was search engine optimizer, firefighter, jiu-jitsu coach. That's just an explosion. There's no rhyme or reason to anything I did. Did your skills transfer? Nope.
To be fair, I took a lot of teaching skills into jiu-jitsu.
None of mine have transferred anywhere. That's what makes me kind of like, because I know jiu-jitsu is not forever. I'm not going to be able to be a jiu-jitsu coach forever.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives me optimism that I can hopefully land on my feet.
I've
got some
doing
brains.
something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know what the fuck it's going to be, but I'm apparently all right at figuring shit out when I need to. But anyway, so I used to be an SEO. I used to optimize for pretty decent sized companies. And I used to go to SEO's moved on a decent amount in the past. How long has it been since I left? Like 14 years? Oh yeah, I left as soon as I started this 13 years ago. So in that time, I used to do a lot of like the R&D and understanding how people use the internet, and it hasn't changed. People always kind of be the same, and one thing I kind of realized was that, especially when it came to social media and like being in front of people, is that normal companies don't have the luxury that we do. Like, you can't be a roofing company or valeting company and like get people really hyped up for your stuff, and just take photos all the time and make those social media. Like, if you're an accountancy firm, you ain't gonna have a lot of social media shit, or not. You'd have some decent out of the box thinking, but with jiu-jitsu it's really easy. But you notice that most gyms just do the fucking group photo at the end. Okay, a bunch of people have come to your Facebook page to, they think, oh yeah, I'm going to find some jiu-jitsu online. Or even if they don't, like, just say you're friends. People who don't do jiu-jitsu, like, and you get tagged in a photo week in, week out, it's just you standing sweaty in a room. Like, they have no fucking clue what you do. But if you can get a nice photo of what you do rolling, that's interesting. But taking a photo on a mobile phone, not interesting. Too flat. So that's when, 6 years ago, I picked up a bit of portrait photography knowledge. Like, how do you make a nice foreground background at speed in a room with shit lighting? Because I can't use flash and I haven't got lights set up. Right, let's figure it out. And everyone fucking loves it. Because then everyone, they love doing the photo comes up, they get tagged in it, it then appears on their profile, or I'll take a bunch of pictures, put them in a group, and then people just disseminate them with, what they do, and that gets interest. As cynical as it is,
yeah,
it's marketing. Like, if I could, okay, yeah, I've got to sit down for 5 minutes, 1 round or 2 round with the camera, take a bunch of photos, and quickly edit them when I get home. Out of 2-hour open mat, I don't think it really costs me. But everyone loves it. You love it.
I love it.
You love the camera being on you. That's like
I'm made for the camera, mate. I'm telling you.
You've got the same smile. Like I say, I'll put that picture up on Thursday when this comes out of you smiling the exact same way as you did 6 years ago, with the same head angle. You mastered. It's like you're a fucking teenager with a pout. You just got it. Yeah. I'm sure you had a MySpace.
MySpace? No, I had MSN though. Can you remember MSN and Bebo? Can you remember Bebo?
Oh, I think I was a different generation to you then. I didn't have Bebo, but I had MySpace.
MySpace was before, yeah.
Yeah. You had. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, you had that social media profile, with
and then Facebook.
The dialed-in look you did. Maybe I was there for the birth of the internet. I'm older than you.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was like, that's useless generation. Yeah, and I love it. I love just getting those shots out and everyone loves them. And yeah, like that new bit of equipment, like, fantastic idea. So if anyone's looking at just improving a bit of their maybe their social media game, don't do it on the mobile phone. You won't get speed of people rolling around. Go for a decent DSLR camera, mirrorless or whatever, with a decent 35mm, 50mm lens, fast lens, maybe a 1.4 f range, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. Just, you'll get some good shots of people rolling in the gym, and they'll love it, and it's good. So, and I think as well, what's really important is, so when I started to look into a lot of this stuff, is I bought books of Instagram influencers.
I know you've told me this before.
And it's like, you wouldn't think to look in that kind of avenue, but one thing that really stuck in my head was this idea that when you're a teenager growing up, your wardrobe is eclectic. Like, it's just, you don't know who you are, you haven't found your style yet. But when you hit like your 20s or 30s, you've got your groove. Like, your style. Like, you have your clothes, you open up your wardrobe. And it's the same with like your Instagram. Like, you can go like, oh, today I'm going to be moody. It's going to be black and white. And tomorrow it's like, whoa, this is sunny and it's colourful. And it's like, oh, today's vibrant. Oh, today's got this filter. Like, you look like you've lost your mind. Find a style. If you have to, try some out, absolutely. Find a style and stick to it. And I feel that the photos we currently have, it's that same style. And that's why. It wasn't. Also, it's a single few edits. I can just, robot my way through them.
No, it's good, man. It's good. Really good quality. Really good edition.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And let's see how long I'm on this manic episode until I swing the other way and don't post for a month. But yeah, so we'll use that equipment on Thursday. We're going to be releasing some new videos. I'm going to be also using it to make some new Patreon this week. Now I'm back and settled in. This podcast is also coming out on Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sending your questions. I'll do the exact same throughout the week of what do you want us to talk about. There are other guests coming on. I'm so excited. We've got such a fantastic lineup coming up soon. There is a interview with Charles Harriott already recorded. And I probably drop that either this week or next. I'll find a good day, but check out that when it lands. It's a lot of fun. Holy hell. Yeah, good episode with Charles. And yeah, thank you, Nak. Thank you for staying up. Thank you for still doing this. Thank you for your input on these questions.
It's a pleasure. Never a chore.
Oh, dude, I love this. So yeah, thank you. This has been Reap the Week with El Jefe and the Villain. Good night, Nak.
Good night.
Oh, no.
What's happened?
Oh, nothing. I'm here. Okay, good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.